Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the Divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you deliver will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. Oh Mary, did you know? Oh Mary, did you know that your baby boy? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know? Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? That sleeping child you're holding is the great I am. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters. Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know? Oh, Mary, did you know?
I'm reading from the book, The Sermon on the Mount, according to Vedanta, by Swami Kripamayananda. The chapter is the Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6, 9-13. Having instructed us how to pray, Christ now gives us an actual prayer which we may use, the Lord's Prayer. The prayer begins, Our Father. Christ is teaching us how to think of God when we pray to Him. For most of us, God as an impersonal being is too abstract to meditate upon. He is an idea, it seems. While we feel that we are flesh and blood with emotions and desires. Therefore, as we saw in the previous chapter, Christ, like other great spiritual teachers, emphasized the path of devotion in which God is worshipped as a personal being. In order that we may love the Lord with all our heart, soul, and mind, as Christ wants us to do, we have to consider Him our very own. And in order that we may consider Him our very own, we have to enter into a definite relationship with Him. The different expressions of love which exists on the human plane also exist on the divine plane. A Hindu prayer says, Thou art our loving mother, Thou art our compassionate father, Thou art our true friend and constant companion, Thou art our only treasure and our only wisdom, Thou art all in all. We must begin with a specific relationship with God. Later, we come to the understanding that He is all in all. The 5 relationships with God are not confined to Hindu worship. For Christians also have been long familiar with them. Hindu devotees adore the baby Krishna. Christians adore the Christ child. Brother Lawrence looked on himself primarily as a servant of the Lord. Catholic nuns consider themselves to be brides of Christ and even wear wedding bands to indicate their state. Christ Himself taught the attitude of friendship with God. He said to His disciples, John 14:15, Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard from my Father, I have made known unto you. In the Lord's Prayer, however, and in many other of Christ's teachings, we are told to think of God as our Father, whom we may regard partly with reverence, but chiefly with trust, absolute confidence, and love. We are under His protection. We are safe with Him. We are told to seek the Father in heaven. But where is heaven? Both Christianity and Vedanta teach, as I have pointed out in the previous chapter, that the kingdom of heaven is within us. This does not mean that heaven has a spatial existence. Heaven is beyond space. To be in heaven is to realize God within our own consciousness. When we begin to look within, however, we do not see any heaven, for earth is also within us. Blinded by ignorance of our divine nature, we see only earth. Earth consciousness is our physical consciousness, our consciousness of time, space, and relativity. Conversely, heaven is that which abides forever, the kingdom of heaven. As long as the mind is impure, as long as it is attached to the objects of the world, we are conscious of earth. When this same mind is purified through prayer and worship, it realizes the Father which is in heaven. My master, that is Swami Brahmananda, used to say, with the eye of the senses, what will a man see but matter? With the eye of the spirit, what will he see but spirit? From the experiences of illumined souls, we learn that at the time of God realization, in the superconscious state of samadhi, there is no awareness of the physical world. That is because the saint has gone beyond time, space, and relativity. But because we cannot have this superconsciousness all in a moment, we should begin we should begin by thinking of God as dwelling within our hearts and praying to Him there. Brother Lawrence said, we must make our heart a spiritual temple wherein to adore Him incessantly. He is within us. Seek Him not elsewhere. Here is ready.
Now a short period of meditation. Good morning, friends. Welcome to the Sunday service of the Vedanta Society of Toronto. And today, the Christmas being closer, we chose the topic to discuss on Christ. And the topic chosen is Christ and Incarnation of God. Christ is mostly many denominations of many religions, they choose to describe Christ as a prophet, a messenger of God. Even Swami Vivekananda has given wonderful talk at Christ the messenger. But we in the Ramakrishna Order consider Christ as an incarnation of God, as are 10 incarnations in Hinduism. In addition to that 10 are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Ramakrishna, Christ. All these we consider as incarnation of God. In the scriptures, there is the mention of 10 incarnations in Hindu scripture. Also, there is the mention of 24 incarnations, also innumerable incarnations of God. In fact, Sri Krishna, who is the 8th incarnation of God and very most popular incarnation, having taught the message of the Gita, he said in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyam. I bring forth myself whenever the dharma is on decline and adharma is in ascent. I bring forth myself for the purpose of re-establishing dharma. So he didn't say that he comes only in Treta Yuga or sometime. He comes every time when need comes for a great spiritual power to reset the world. And they say reset. World has been created that way. The people forget the goal. They start walking, moving in the dark, don't find the light. So irreligion or adharma that prevails. And God has to come himself, the great power has to come himself now and then to reset the dharma and show the light to the world. An avatara is always aware of his divinity quite early in his life. In a young age, he becomes aware that he has a great mission to perform in this world. He has come with that great purpose of life for the dharma chakra parivartana. And in Jesus' case also, we find that at the young age, he went to the temple in Jerusalem, and when he found people were all doing business and were looking after money changers and animal sacrifice, he drove them all away out and said, "What are you doing in the house, my father's home? You are just making it like a marketplace of only thinking about money and other things. What about thinking of God? What about that higher values? All those are gone." He just drove them away as a young boy. And also when Jesus had come as a boy with his parents, and parents went away. There was a crowd, and they went away thinking that his son would be there. But they found Jesus was missing. The young boy was missing. They searched here and there. They had gone quite long away in the crowd. They didn't notice that he is missing. Then they were searching, and then finally they came back to the temple, and they found him to be there. And said, "Why are you here? We are so worried about you. We are searching you." Then he said, "Why were you searching me? I was in the house of my father." He knew that his father is God. He is linked with God. Father and son are same. So search always in the temple. That's what he means. The avatara rekindles the lamp of spirituality and enlightens the heart of a large section of humanity for a long time. Their impact, like any other religious person, like any other guru, they change the life. But their impact is much more greater. It is for the whole large humanity, and also their time span. They don't fade away. Their impact is for eons together. Buddha was born 2,500 years ago. He is still relevant, very much relevant. People follow him and find the right way and find the bliss of this earth, of the human life. Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago, and he is relevant. And all other Krishna, many more years ago, Rama, still more years ago, these still are relevant in this life. They are worshipped in the hearts of millions of people. They are worshipped. So their impact doesn't fade away. Their impact ever remains. With the passage of time, their impact increases. Their intensity increases. That is the one aspect of incarnation of God. They don't fade away like other teachers' importance that another teacher has to come. But incarnation, though he does not fade away, he is always relevant. But why the incarnation need to come again and again? Because time changes the society. That is the law that God has created. change is there. To adapt to the change and to give the message in the new language, in the new way, to suit the new society, new generation, God incarnates again and again to say the same old eternal truth in a new language, in a new way. Like that's why they say old wine in a new bottle. That's what the God does. God incarnation is that. Only one, that being who came as Rama, came as Krishna, and then he came as Buddha and came as Jesus. He came as Chaitanya and he came as Sri Ramakrishna. That very being comes again and again whenever there is need arises and you need to have the Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Incarnation reveals himself to the genuine seekers always. So still there are people who find Jesus in their heart revealing. They have no doubt about the Jesus reality. People cannot have doubt. Krishna, people have revealed Krishna. They have seen Rama. All they are revealed themselves. To the genuine seekers they do. And they are aware of their divinity. That's what Jesus did. That's what all incarnation did. Sri Krishna says, Mai eva mana adhatsva mai buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mai eva ata urdhvam na samsaya. You will raise yourself high by putting your mind in me, putting your intellect in me. Think of me. Man mana bhavamad bhakto. Be my devotee. Love me and put your mind in me. Man mana bhava. Your mind should think of me. Sri Krishna said, Jesus also said, sell all ye have, and follow me. That is what all incarnations want. When they want good of humanity, they want them to follow them. Sri Krishna also says, who is Sri Krishna? Aham sarvasya jagato mata dhata pitama. I am of the whole world. I am mother, father, grandsire, everything I am. God is all in all. Matta parataram nasti. There is nothing other than me in this world. It is I who has become this world. I am the highest. That's what Sri Krishna said to Arjuna. And Jesus said, let dead bury the dead and follow me. So this world who is unaware of the spiritual truths or spiritual seeking, it is like dead from the spirituality, and they are too much engrossed in the world. And if the world is dead to spirituality, means that is death. And somebody had died, they say to his disciples, let them care of the dead body. They are already dead to spirituality. They are too much engrossed in the world. Let them take care of that. You follow me. You follow my teachings. That's what Jesus said to all, because he was aware of the redemption of the world. His purpose of life was the redemption or taking away across the people of the world. In Swamiji's writing of the Christ the Messenger, let me quote from that, read from that. Swami Vivekananda writes, we all know that God exists, and yet we do not see him. We do not understand him. Take one of these great messengers of light. Compare his character with the highest ideal of God that you ever formed, and you will find that your God falls short of the ideal, and that the character of the prophet exceeds your conceptions. You cannot even form a higher ideal of God than what the actually embodied have practically realized and set before us as an example. Is it wrong, therefore, to worship these as God? Is it a sin to fall at the feet of these man-gods and worship them as the only divine beings in the world? If they are really, actually higher than all our conceptions of God, what harm is there in worshiping them? Not only is there no harm, but it is the only possible and positive way of worship. However much you may try by struggle, by abstraction, by whatsoever method you like, Still, so long as you are a man in the world of men, your world is human, your religion is human, and your God is human. And that must be so. Who is not practical enough to take up an actually existing thing and give up an idea which is only an abstraction, which he cannot grasp and is difficult of approach except through a concrete medium? Therefore, these incarnations of God have been worshipped in all ages and in all countries. We are now going to study a little of the life of Christ, the incarnation of the Jews. When Christ was born, the Jews were in that state, which I call a state of fall between two waves, a state of conservatism, a state where the human mind is, as it were, tired for the time being of moving forward and is taking care of only of what it has already, a state when the attention is more bent upon particulars, upon details, than upon the great, general, and bigger problems of life, a state of stagnation rather than a towering ahead, a state of suffering more than of doing. Mark you, I do not blame this state of things. We have no right to criticize it, because had it not been for this fall, the next rise, which was embodied in Jesus of Nazareth, would have been impossible. The Pharisees and Sadducees might have been insincere. They might have been doing things which they ought not to have done. They might have been even hypocrites. But whatever they were, these factors were the very cause of which the messenger was the effect. The Pharisees and Sadducees at one end were the very impetus which came out at the other end as the gigantic brain of Jesus of Nazareth. Swami Vivekananda brings the historical aspect, the social aspect of that time when Jesus was born. And because of this fall, it was the Jesus come, God incarnated. That was the good thing of the fall, you can say. We can get such great lights which remain lighting the world for aeons to come. Jesus, as incarnation of God, he said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." That was the power that Jesus can say. Come, all of you, whoever is tired of this world, are confused in the world, there is the way. Follow my teachings and find the light. Don't grope in the darkness. Jesus is that light. Sri Ramakrishna also had revealed that prophecy, or that he is an incarnation. He said to him, his disciple and the chronicler of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, "Know who I am, who you are, and what is our relationship. If you know that, you have known everything. Who is Sri Ramakrishna, and who are you? A follower of Sri Ramakrishna, one connected with the incarnation of God, a person having the possibility of manifesting the divinity by the grace of the incarnation of God. And what is our relationship? If you know that we are linked to that. So we are, as Swami Vivekananda said, you are the children of immortal bliss. How can you call yourself a sinner? Sinners? To call a man sinner is a libel on humanity. You are the children of immortal bliss. Sinner you can't be. All purity you are. All possibility, all strength, all goodness is your real nature. Some mistake might happen. Some incompleteness might happen. But that is the external thing. In reality, you are pure, you are divine. That's what all the scriptures that say Vedanta says. Once, M went to Dr. Mahendralal Sarkar, Sri Ramakrishna's physician, when he had cancer, suffering a lot, and he had moved from Dakshineswar to Shyampukur. And M went to give the information of his health condition that day, and early morning he reached there, and Dr. Mahendralal Sarkar, the most well-known and most famous physician of his time in Kolkata, he said, "Oh, you have come, good you have come. Since early morning I have been thinking about your Sri Ramakrishna, whether you have closed the windows or not. It may be catch cold, may catch him, how we have kept him. I have been thinking about him only." And he reported and came, and he came back to Shyampukur and reported to Sri Ramakrishna that he was thinking of you from the early morning for a long time, about you only. The Sri Ramakrishna was very happy. And he said, "I can't ask him to meditate on me, but he is nonetheless doing the same by himself." So he wanted that meditating on the form of his body, that will redeem the people, that will give deliverance to the people. Mukti will happen by meditating on the form of Sri Ramakrishna. Himself, when his photograph was taken by his devotees, and it was there in Holy Mother's place, and Sri Ramakrishna went there, and himself saw that and said, "It is the state of a highest yoga." And he himself offered flower to his photographs, just to show us this is the thing to be worshipped if we want our spiritual enlightenment. Jesus said, "I and the Father are one." Many times he said, "Pray to Father, this is our Father who art in heaven." All this as if he is the Son and the Father is God. He said many times, but sometimes he revealed that whom he is saying Father is he himself has come as the human being. Sri Ramakrishna so many times said that it is the Divine Mother who is all inside. If when I try to search, where is I don't find any I. What I find is only Divine Mother. My mother and mother's child are one here. But Sri Ramakrishna, all incarnation used to say that way. Only in the Gita we find Sri Krishna proclaiming that he is the Supreme Being. Of course, all have proclaimed, all incarnations proclaim, but rarely. Like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived like a devotee of Sri Krishna, but he was himself an incarnation of Krishna or incarnation of God, as Sri Gauranga. But he lived his life as if he is a devoted to Krishna. His life began with the devotion to Krishna. Sri Ramakrishna's life experienced with the devotion to Divine Mother, with all his effort to have realization of the Divine Mother, divinity in the Divine Mother. Jesus also was praying to Father in heaven, who had a temple there in Jerusalem, temple of Jews. That was the temple of God for Jesus. More than that, he was the temple of Father. He considered God as the Father. But they all were God himself in human form, as Swami Vivekananda said. You want to worship God, you have to find these humanity, this human born, God born as a human being, where the idea of God that you may think of transcends, and you see greater manifestation of all your ideas about God that you can have in these prophets, messenger or incarnation of God, whatever you call. They are the object of real worship if we want to worship God. The abstract God, we cannot have any relationship. He lives above the cloud. He has no form, he has no feet, he has no hand. Just we pray, we don't know anything. But God come in the form of human being in flesh and blood. When God manifests, it becomes much easier for us to worship him. Sri Krishna said that Mattah parataram narnyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. O Dhananjaya, O Krishna, there is nothing other than me, nothing other than greater than me. Matta parataram nanyat. Nothing is there that is other than me. Mai sarva midam protam sutre manigana iva. You see all this creation of different forms, different colors, all they are threaded in me. I am the thread which holds all these forms. Without me, no form will remain. God is not only the creator, but also He is the sustainer. That's why in the Vedanta it is said, Tat sristva tad eva anupravishata. God created this universe. Out of what? And without saying that out of Himself, He says God created and that entered into everything of this world. Everything that we see in the world is divine only. That's why Sri Krishna says, there is nothing higher than me, nothing other than me in this world. Everything that you see in the world is all tugged in the thread, like a bead is tugged in the thread. So I am the being which retain them, which hold them. That is what the incarnation of God is. Without that, this world will not be held together. Once Hanuman was, once when the bridge of Rama was building the bridge to cross over to Sri Lanka, Ceylon. And they were taking the name of Rama, all his, in the army of whatever, the Vanara Sena, and they were holding huge stones, and they were saying, the Rama's name they were taking, and Jai Ram, and they will all throw in the water, and the stones will float. And Sri Ramachandra saw that, taking his name, and it was floating. Then all were little resting after hard work. Sri Ramachandra thought, let me try how it happens. Take the name of my name and it floats. Then he quietly did lift a stone and said, Jai Ram, and he also threw. To his surprise, it sank. It drowned that stone. He was very embarrassed. And someone then hears, yes, Lord, it was to be that way. And he looks, Hanuman he thought nobody was looking, he was doing in secret. He said, Hanuman was always there, his own chief attendant, chief disciple, chief devotee, an ideal devotee of devotee, Hanuman. And then he says to Hanuman, what is this? Everyone is saying Ramachandra, Jai Ram, and it floats. When I did the same thing, I myself did, and it drowned, it sank. Lord, that was to happen that way. So what do you mean? Because something you are holding that in your hand, that remains. When you let go something from your hand, that will drown, that will sink. That means God holds this universe and we are living. When God lets go this world, it all sinks, it all goes, it all is destroyed. So we are all sustained by the power of God, by the benevolence of God. That is, God is that way. All the forms that we see are all held together, this universe, planets, galaxies, all held together by the power of God, like beads are held in the thread. And that thread is God. God is compared to that thread. Without that, nothing can remain in its position. Let me read from another passage of Swami Vivekananda's messenger, Christ the messenger. What is necessary is that one thing, purity. Blessed are the pure in heart, for the spirit of its own nature is pure. How can it be otherwise? It is of God. It has come from God. In the language of the Bible, it is the breath of God. In the language of the Quran, it is the soul of God. Do you mean to say that the Spirit of God can ever be impure? But alas, it has been, as it were, covered over with the dust and dirt of ages. Through our own actions, good and evil, various works which were not correct, which were not true, have covered the same Spirit with the dust and dirt of the ignorance of ages. It is only necessary to clear away the dust and dirt, and then the Spirit shines immediately. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God, said Jesus. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Where goest thou to seek for the kingdom of God? Asked Jesus of Nazareth. When it is there within you, cleanse the spirit, and it is there. It is already yours. How can you get what is not yours? It is yours by right. You are the heirs of immortality, sons of the eternal Father. This is the great lesson of the messenger, that is Christ. And another, which is the basis of all religions, is renunciation. How can you make the spirit pure? By renunciation. A rich young man asked Jesus, Good Master, what shall I do that I may inherit eternal life? And Jesus said unto him, One thing thou lackest. Go thy way, sell whatever thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasures in heaven. And come, take up thy cross, and follow me. And he was sad at that saying, and went away grieved, for he had great possessions. We are all more or less like that. The voice is ringing in our ears day and night. In the midst of our pleasures and joys, in the midst of worldly things, we think that we have forgotten everything else. Then comes a moment's pause, and the voice rings in our ears, Give up all, and thou hast, and follow me. Whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. For whoever gives up this life for his sake finds the life immortal. In the midst of all our weakness, there is a moment of pause, and the voice rings, Give up all that thou hast, give it to the poor, and follow me. This is the one ideal he preaches, and this has been the ideal preached by all the great prophets of the world. Renunciation. What is meant by renunciation? That there is only one ideal in morality, unselfishness. Be selfless. The ideal is perfect unselfishness. When a man is struck on the right cheek, he turns the left also. When a man's coat is carried off, he gives away his cloak also. We should work in the best way we can, without dragging the ideal down. Here is the ideal. When a man has no more self in him, no possession, nothing to call me or mine, has given himself up entirely, destroyed himself as it were, in that man is God himself. For in him self-will is gone, crushed out, annihilated. That is the ideal man. We cannot reach that state yet. Yet let us worship the ideal and slowly struggle to reach the ideal, though maybe with faltering steps. It may be tomorrow, or it may be 1,000 years hence, but that ideal has to be reached, for it is not only the end, but also the means. To be unselfish, perfectly selfless, is salvation itself, for the man within dies, and God alone remains. These are the beautiful words of Swamiji. While talking about Jesus, he talks such words of renunciation, unselfishness, and service. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, appearance of Christ has, during his sadhana, has made an impact in his teachings in his order, and that become a very important part of Ramakrishna Order's service work. After his Islam sadhana, Sri Ramakrishna was seated. He practiced Christianity. He prayed that he heard a Bible from one of his friends there. And one day he was sitting in Panchavati under the banyan tree, and there he saw a radiant, fair-skinned, luminous being approaching towards him in the Panchavati. The figure had a serene, compassionate expression, large eyes, and little flattened nose at the tip. He recognized it to be divine being because it is radiant. It approached Sri Ramakrishna and embraced Sri Ramakrishna, and it merged in the body of Sri Ramakrishna. It was to prove that the Jesus as incarnation is not somebody made, it is real. And teaching that he taught were valid means for humanity, for the salvation of the humanity. Sri Ramakrishna realized by his experience that Christianity is also a true path to God. He felt the living presence of Christ as an incarnation of the divine. The experience confirmed his universal message, as many faiths, so many paths. Impact of Sri Ramakrishna's vision of the Christ on the Ramakrishna Order is seen. In the order reveres Christ as a divine incarnation, not merely as a prophet or a teacher. Celebration of Christmas Eve is done throughout all the centers of the Ramakrishna Order. Ramakrishna Order in its centers all over the world include in the practice of reading from the Bible, and they read and explain and discuss the teachings of the Christ. Christmas celebration they observe, and also they promote interfaith dialogue, bringing all religions together. Because they believe, as Sri Ramakrishna told, as many faiths, so many paths. So Christianity, Islam, Sikhism, Jainism, Judaism, Buddhism, all these are different paths of reaching one God. One water body can be approached through many ways and can be called in by different names. Some call it water, some call it some call it aqua, some call it jal, some call it pani. But it is the same water. Name may be different of God, but it is one God of all religions that everybody in the world, all religions worship. There is no contradiction in the God. There might be difference in the approach to God, in the sadhana, but God is one. Same blissful being, same core of our own spiritual thirst. Where is the fulfillment? That is what God is. And Sri Ramakrishna proved it by his own sadhana, by doing practice, not only different branches of Hinduism, but by practicing Islam, Christianity, and also Christianity, and proved that all faiths are the paths to reach, valid paths to reach the same God, same divinity. Swami Vivekananda spoke Christ as a yogi, a world teacher, and a manifestation of the divine. The book that was read in the morning, beautiful song was sung of the Christ, that you have come to redeem all your sons and daughters. To rhyme that they made, he walked on the earth. Walking on the water was not a great thing. Yogis can do that. Many other yogis have also done that. But water and daughters, to rhyme that is the poem done. But to redeem, to deliver beautifully. You are delivered your baby, and he will deliver you, and you will deliver mankind, whoever follows his teaching. So that was a beautiful song. And the reading, the book read was Sermon on the Mount according to Vedanta. In that book, the cover page has Jesus in meditation. And that is the yogi, according to Sri Swami Vivekananda, who called Jesus as a yogi. And that is the yogic posture of Jesus. Imagine, never described. But when Jesus went in from his 12 to 24, when he was not seen, he must be in a deep meditation, deep spiritual sadhana. He must have been there, and he must have gone through meditation as a yogi. He was a great yogi. Christ's ideal of love, compassion, and service is practiced in the works of the Ramakrishna Order with the motto of Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya Cha. So it has an impact. Swami Vivekananda made more that motto for the Ramakrishna mission, that Jagat Hitaya Cha. Our life should be not only for our own salvation, but also for the welfare of the world. That is taught in all great teachers have taught. Christ taught that love and serve. And also Buddha taught serve. Sri Krishna always talked about karma yoga, be of usefulness to your friends and to the world. Work for work's sake, serve them. That is the way to purify your heart. Unless your heart is purified, you will not attain God, you will not grow spiritually. And to purify your heart, devotion to God is the one way. But selfless service, being unselfish, that is a great power to purify your heart. Practice that. That's what Sri Krishna taught. All great prophets taught that way. Swami Vivekananda wanted to be in deep meditation, and when he told Sri Ramakrishna, I want to be in deep meditation, now and then I can come to the normal plane, eat something, and again dive into deep meditation. Sri Ramakrishna said, no, that is not your ideal. You have not come to be that way. You have to come here to become like a huge banyan tree, under whose shade millions of the people will find shade and coolness in this burning world. Your teaching, your life is for that. He meant all our life to be useful, as much in our perspective with whatever power we have. We don't have power like Vivekananda or Jesus or Ramakrishna, but we all have some power which can influence not hundreds of people, but 4 people, 2 people. And that influence is not only by mere talk, by our work of service and love. And that way will be making our life successful, says Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna. All those who follow Ramakrishna's ideal are to do karma yoga. In the Ramakrishna order, this karma yoga is a must. People of the join order to become a monk. And in the monk, other places are supposed to study scriptures, meditate, pray. That much. In our order, that is not enough. You have to work something you have to work for the people, for the ashram. Karma yoga is an integral part of the Ramakrishna ideal. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, our motto, aim is Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya Cha. You will attain liberation. Only attaining liberation is not the goal, but trying to attain liberation or mukti or freedom by doing service to the world. That is the ideal. So let me conclude again by reading Swami Vivekananda. Let us therefore find God not only in Jesus of Nazareth, but in all the great ones that have preceded him, in all that came after him, and all that are yet to come. Our worship is unbounded and free. They are all manifestations of the same infinite God. They are all pure and unselfish. They struggled and gave up their lives for us, poor human beings. They each and all suffer vicarious atonement for every one of us, and also for all that are to come hereafter. In a sense, you are all prophets. Every one of you is a prophet, bearing the burden of the world on your own shoulders. Have you ever seen a man Have you ever seen a woman who is not quietly, patiently bearing his or her little burden of life? The great prophets were giants. They bore a gigantic world on their shoulders. Compared with them, we are pygmies, no doubt. Yet, we are doing the same task in our little circles, in our little homes. We are bearing our little crosses. There is no one so evil, no one so worthless, but he has to bear his own cross. But with all our mistakes, with all our evil thoughts and evil deeds, there is a bright spot somewhere. There is still somewhere the golden thread through which we are always in touch with the divine. For know for certain that the moment the touch of the divine is lost, there would be annihilation. And because none can be annihilated, there is always somewhere in our heart of hearts, however low and degraded we may be, a little circle of light which is in constant touch with the divine. Our salutations go to all the past prophets whose teachings and lives we have inherited. Whatever might have been their race, clime, or creed. Our salutations go to all those godlike men and women who are working to help humanity, whatever be their birth, color, or race. Our salutations to those who are coming in the future, living gods, to work unselfishly for our descendants. This is Swami Vivekananda's exhortation of prophets and incarnations of God, and he's showing to us you also have inherited that great power of spiritual potentiality within you. Manifest that, harness that, nurture your spiritual power, and do the great works, not only making yourself elevated in spirituality, but shedding the luster of spiritual light around you as much as you can. So on this day, we pray to Jesus, Buddha, Swami Vivekananda, Holy Mother, and Sri Ramakrishna to give us strength and guide us, to lead us from darkness to light. Om. Thank you very much.
Thank you for attending today's Sunday session. Now for the upcoming events, we are going to celebrate Christmas Eve on the 24th of December at 6 p.m., followed by Kalpataru celebration on the 1st of January 2026 at 12 p.m. The winter recess begins on 25th of December to 31st of December 2025. And during this period, there will be no Sunday service and scripture class conducted in the society. An appeal for membership renewal for the year 2026. Vedanta Society appeals to the devotees and well-wishers to kindly come forward and donate generously through online means, checks, cash, whatever they can do. Our thanks to those who have responded to our appeal and kindly donated to support the society. The devotees and well-wishers, you can donate online through our website using debit, credit, PayPal service, and there you're requested to renew your membership details, even by an email to toronto@rkmm.org, and just mention your name, address, mobile number, home phone number, email address, and amount paid. And the annual subscription, we welcome every devotee to every member actually to come forward and renew their annual subscription. This will help the society to do the service and required maintenance and other activities of the society. Swami Vivekananda's birthday celebration will be held in January, on January 10th, 2026 at 11 a.m. All are requested to attend with your friends and family. Thank you very much.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Jai Mahamai Ki Jai. Jai Swami Ji Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Buddha Ki Jai. Jai Isha Musha Ki Jai. Sarvastaratu Durgani Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu Sarvasad Buddhimapnotu Sarvatra Nandatu. Hari Om Tat Sat. May all be freed from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all.